Hello everybody, welcome back here to Tortorici.com. Today I wanted to touch on something really important. Today's September 6th, 2012, and yesterday we got some major breaking news across every major news outlet, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, LA Times, etc., about a study that was done at Stanford University, basically saying that organic food is essentially the same as conventional food. So, my take on it. Well, really without really having to get too deep into the study that they did at Stanford, one of the things I dug up was, well first off, let's look at this. The study, it was 17 studies in humans and 223 studies of nutrient and contaminant levels in foods. Okay, so those 223 studies, they pulled from data resources from Medline from January 1966 to May 2011, Embase, CabDirect, Agricola, Toxnet, Cochrane Library. So what I did was, if you just research the first two, which was Embase and CabDirect, one of the most common things that I noticed on both of those websites is that they work in the healthcare industry. Now, when I mention the term healthcare to you guys, what comes to mind? So it's like when we hear of the universal healthcare that Obama and Romney are for, that only covers healthcare. When you hear healthcare, you should only thinking about big pharmaceutical companies, because that's what it means. There's nothing in Obamacare that even mentions anything holistic or preventative, natural ways of healing the human body. So, they pull these facts, this data about contaminants of food from these companies that protect the healthcare industry. So right there, it's a major red flag for me as far as what type of honest numbers were actually given to the researchers over at Stanford University. And then I also find it very interesting that elections are coming up in the next month and a half or so, and out here in California, we're the first state to have a bill. It's called Proposition 37, and we're actually going to be able to vote on the demand of having genetically modified food being labeled in our state. And if it passes in our state, it's going to 9 times out of 10 pass all across the board. I find it interesting that this study comes out now and hits major news airwaves right now. It's and the thing that's interesting too, in this study, they only mention conventional produce with pesticides and animals being fed antibiotics and hormones to organic produce. There's no mention of genetically modified food and what that does and what kind of contaminants are in that. So I find that interesting as well. Personally, I'm calling BS on this. I think this is all propaganda. The organic food boom is astronomical. I know I've mentioned this in a lot of my blogs. I've been living this lifestyle for about 12 and a half years now, and I've seen over the last 12 and a half years the demand for organic grow even more. Then we had Michelle Obama planting an organic garden at the White House, but at the same time Barack Obama is signing bills to allow genetically modified alfalfa to be fed to animals. He appointed Michael Taylor, who was one of the head lobbyists and lawyers for Monsanto, to now be the chief executive over at the FDA. Ever since that's happened, we've seen countless amounts of arrests of raw dairy farmers, of small family-owned organic farms that refuse to plant the genetically modified seeds from Monsanto that are Roundup Ready resistant. We saw this Food Safety Modernization Act take place about 2 years ago, which allows the FDA to regulate farming in general. So you have to ask yourself the questions. And then furthermore, if you want to dig even deeper, research the Hippocrates Health Institute, research the Ann Wigmore Institute, research the Optimum Health Institute, research Dr. Max Gerson, research Dr. Gary Knoll, Dr. Joseph McCullough, Dr. Joel Furman, Dr. Gabriel Cousins. Research them and look at studies they do, and patients that they treat with organic food. I mean, you can hear countless stories of people that were combating some form of a type of an terminal disease, and they went on a 100% organic diet, a lot of them vegan to cleanse the body, and you hear a lot of miracle stories taking place of how people have combated certain ailments and certain illnesses. So, in this study they try to say that maybe it's 25-30% better to eat organic, but they really didn't see much difference. Again, I'm calling BS. I think it's a major distraction. I think it's, again, if you don't research this stuff and you're only watching the 5 o'clock news, or you see a headline, your Hotmail account or your AOL or your MSN account, all you see is the bold lettering of conventional food, the same as organic. You click on it, or you're eating dinner and hearing the 5 o'clock news. It's about a 30-second to a minute segment, and they give you little bullet points to tell you that, not such a big deal. So then the average family that's stretching themselves financially to purchase this medicinal food for themselves and this family now is like, it's really not that much of a difference, let's save money. So it's a mind game as far as I'm concerned. I find this just as coincidental as the Navy SEAL book that's coming out. I think that came out last week or is coming out this week about the killing of bin Laden. I find that very ironic that comes out now a month and a half out from the election as well. So really, I mean, it's just a matter of connecting the dots. Eat organic always, buy locally. There is a difference. I think one point in the study as well was saying that they found no significant increase in omega-3 fatty acids in organic milk. Well, that's because A, they were testing pasteurized organic milk, which is a dead food regardless, and then B, they didn't specify whether if the milk was the cow was grass-fed or grain-fed. You only want to be eating grass-fed cows and milk from grass-fed cows. That's what's going to have the high omega-3 content. So it's a lot of gray areas in this study, and I'm calling BS on it, and I urge all of you guys to disregard this information and keep buying local, keep supporting organic. The movement is growing. I just think these big pharma companies and these corporate companies that produce the GMO foods and the synthetic food dyes and preservatives, all that, are freaking out because we're becoming more aware of demanding cleaner produce for ourselves and our communities. So I think that's essentially all I wanted to say. I really hope that everyone can see past this. Okay, it's a load of crap. Okay, research those doctors again that I rambled up before. They are medical doctors, PhDs, very profound. They have no invested interest because they're not in the business of selling fruits and vegetables. They're in the business of helping people. And it's a little bit conflict of interest, just as I mentioned, with having a head of Monsanto, now the head of the FDA, that Obama administration appointed, that Romney is in favor for as well, don't get it twisted. Really the only politician that addresses any of these issues is Ron Paul. He drafted a bill about raw milk being able to be shipped across state lines. That got denied. You do the research. Read about dairy raids that are happening, Amish farmers. There's a place out here in Los Angeles and Venice called the Rossum. They've been raided twice. They're shut down now. James Stewart is fighting for his life, the owner, for basically running a community co-op of allowing people to purchase raw dairy products and fresh organic produce. So it's crazy. All we could do is start becoming self-sufficient, grow whatever we can grow, and buy local when we can, and always, always, always buy organic, and always avoid genetically engineered food. It is toxic and poisonous, will cause weight gain, cancer, tumor growth, etc. The studies are there. They don't lie. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for your time. I hope this video made some clarity for you guys after seeing all the news yesterday. Peace and love.
Without booze, I refuse to blow a fuse. They even had it on the news.